Hello everyone, welcome to Storytime. Today is part 10 of A Tale of Two Friends, and as you recall in part 9, Cleo and Neisha met their mothers who gave them some advice. So we'll see in this chapter today if they will follow that advice. And the name of today's chapter is Part 10. Procedure. After making their promise, they went to their mothers and told them that they were going to follow their advice. They were going to get captured. Their mothers were happy that they came to this decision, deeming it common sense and the right thing to do. They spent time gathering information from the other animals that were there about what life was like at that place. The animals talked about the constant food supply, with the sentiment that it was that they got exercise every day. The cleaning. But overall, the sentiment towards the place was not so bad. Well, Neisha said to Cleo after they had finished talking to everyone and met up again. Cleo just laughed. Neisha laid down and beckoned Cleo to come lay with her. She rested her head on Cleo's neck. Cleo replied as she rested her head on Neisha's neck. The heat emanating from each other made them feel sleepy instantaneously. They woke up the next morning to a high-pitched squeaking. They opened their eyes to see that there was a golden-furred person opening up the wall for the boxes to come in. There were two shades of different brown, lighter on top and darker on the bottom. Their hearts started to race, and they fought the urge to run away. They laid in place, determined to let themselves get captured together, so they could remain together. They watched as the person got back into the box and rode up closer, stopped the box, get out, and walked towards where the two laid. There was another squeak as they opened up the second wall, but they closed this one back again. As they walked towards the buildings where the two were laying, Cleo thought they had made eye contact with each other, but the person walked around the building and disappeared around the side. Neisha and Cleo got up and followed the person. They watched as the person entered the cat's building. "Hi everyone," he called out. They sounded happy. Meow. Everyone in the cat building screamed back at them. She was with the cats for a while, calling out random things like Bubbles, Mittens, Cupcake. It was hard to make out what the person was saying. However, they figured out that over time, when she said something, a cat would respond with a or a or excitedly, so they assumed that the person was calling their name. Cleo turned to Neisha. Neisha nodded in agreement. They stayed and watched as the person did the same thing to the dog windmill. "Oh, what do we have here?" a voice suddenly was heard behind them. Neisha and Cleo's reflexes kicked in. Neisha turned around and bared her teeth. Neisha growled. Cleo said, placing her paw on Neisha. Neisha calmed down, hid her teeth, and looked at Cleo. Cleo said as she kissed Neisha. Neisha returned the kiss. "Oh, you two are so cute," the strange high-pitched person with brown fur on her head said as it crouched. "How did you get here?" Cleo pleaded to her. What's it? Are you hungry?" It responded to her call. Neisha added. She started to wag her tail. Okay. We'll get you some food." The person straightened itself out. "Mary!" he called in a loud voice. This caused the earlier person to make an appearance from the dog's building. "Oh, good morning, Ash." "Good morning. Could you get some food and water and come here?" It looked down at the two animals. "There's something you have to see." "Okay." The second person disappeared, and the one in front of them bent again and reached out their paws. Neisha, feeling a bit suspicious at this action, cautiously went up and sniffed it. It was a sweet smell, with a hint of another smell that was similar to her mother's and brother's. It was a comforting smell, and she couldn't help but want to rub her scent in there too, to claim the small stake in this person. Cleo asked. Neisha said. Cleo walked up to the outstretched paw and started rubbing her scent in there too. "Oh, they've accepted me!" the person cried in joy. The person turned their paws around and started to rub Neisha and then Cleo with it. It let out a small scream of pleasure. Shortly, they were joined by the other person. "Aw, did they come together?" the new person said as they put down two small boxes on the ground. Neisha and Cleo sniffed at it. Neisha said to Cleo. Cleo asked. Neisha sniffed the boxes. The one on the left smelt familiar. Fish. She had her fill when they were walking down by the stream, and she really wasn't too excited to be eating any more of that. Neisha said. Cleo said excitedly. They both moved to the boxes and sniffed it. It smelled really good. But how would it taste? They gave their food a little lick just to make sure. Their heads moved up simultaneously and they looked at each other, smiled, and right away started eating their food. "Oh my! They're just like twins, but different animals," the new person said while the two ate. Neisha looked up after taking a few big bites. She said to Cleo when they went back to eating. They ate all the food and drank all the water and turned to the two people. They said, "Ash, can you get these two cleaned up and processed?" "Okay," said the brown-furred person. She reached down and picked up Cleo and Neisha. The person took them into the buildings, different from the other cats and dogs. They were taken to a place where everything was silver. They were put down on a hole. They were put down in a hole in the table. It sent a shiver through their body. The person took a floppy stick with a weird end on it. They turned something with their paws and watched as water appeared at the end of the weird floppy stick. The person placed their paws under the water, in and out, before keeping it there. Then they turned to the two and sprayed them with water, getting them wet. Neisha looked at Cleo and watched as the brown disappeared from her fur. The water was turned off and a thick liquid was poured all over them. The person massaged their bodies with their paws, and some strange white thing, foam, started to form in their body. They pushed the white foam all over their body, over their legs, their face, their ears. When everything was covered, the water was turned on again, and a strange white thing was washed from their body. When everything was turned off, a big fluffy sheet was wrapped around them, and their bodies massaged. They could feel the water being sucked out of their fur and into the sheet. Cleo was placed on another silver table first, before the same thing happened to Neisha. The person got a thick bent stick. Click! And a loud noise filled the room. The warm air was pushed onto both of them. The air felt good. The two closed their eyes. The air was moved all over their bodies until the cold feeling of the water was gone from their furs. The warm air stopped and the two opened their eyes. Neisha looked at Cleo. She stopped breathing for a bit. Neisha complimented her. Her purple eyes popped in contrast to her snow-white fur. Cleo returned the compliment. She too was in awe of how Neisha looked. Her ice blue eyes against the smoky grey and the white fur really drew you into them. The beauty was not lost on the person as well. Wow, you two are gorgeous. People would love to have you. Even though they didn't know what the person was saying, they could tell by the tone of the voice that they were quite impressed. Okay, you two stay here, the person said. Neisha and Cleo looked at each other and shrugged. They had command in their voice, but they didn't know what they were doing, so they just sat there. Oh, good. The person walked around and got something out of the smaller boxes, all of them weird shapes. They watched as the person put something over their paws and walked back to them. They took a stick and click! A bright light was shone into Neisha's eyes, and then Cleo's. The person went to his box and tapped at it for a while. They came back, picked up another stick. They forced Neisha to stand up and lifted up her tail and put the stick up her bottom. This surprised Neisha a lot, but it wasn't too uncomfortable. Cleo asked. Neisha replied. The person put the stick in a shallow hole again and went to the box. Tap, tap, tap. The same thing was done to Cleo using a different stick. Next, the person went to Neisha, put their paws around Neisha's snout and lifted up her lips. They moved their head around, looking closely at her teeth. They placed something in between her teeth, which forced her mouth to open. Again, they looked inside, looking back and forth, now using a light stick. Once again, they went back to the box and tapped, and the same thing happened to Cleo. The person took their paw covering and threw it into a standing hole. The brown-haired person placed both of their paws on Neisha's when the blonde person entered. "Where do you want these?" she called. "On the table, thanks." The other person went in and placed on a flat slate on the table with 2 sticks on it and left. The brown-haired person ran her paws through Neisha's hair, looking closely at it. She ran through every inch of her. "Wow," she heard the person gasp. The person then looked in Neisha's ears. She picked up a stick with a black point and clicked it. Light came from it and was concentrated at the tip. She placed the tip in one ear and then the other. Then back at the box she tapped again. Same thing with Cleo. Tap, tap, tap. The person again wrapped their paws around Neisha's belly and squeezed her in certain areas. Her paws moved in circles in those areas. It tickled her a little bit. This time the person didn't even take time to go to the box and went to Cleo and did the same thing. Then she went to the box and tapped on it again. They turned around and removed something strange from around the neck, pried it open and let it bite them in the ears. Neisha closed her eyes, but the person didn't seem to be in any pain. The person took the other end with this flat round plate and placed it on Neisha's chest. Neisha didn't know what to do. She just stood there. After a while, the person then moved the plate to the left of the chest and then to the right. Okay, excellent, they said. You're in perfect condition. And you? They turned to Cleo and did the same thing. Okay, one more thing for the both of you before we can really say that. The person smiled as she picked up a stick from the slate that the golden person brought in. She grabbed the tip and yanked off the top. The stick went from rounded to pointy. The person looked at the stick carefully, clenched their paws, and the pointy tip released some water. The person looked at Neisha and rubbed her head and neck. Her paws disappeared under the table and came out with something delicious smelling. Neisha sniffed at the closed paw. The person opened the paws and Neisha quickly ate what was in her paws. She rubbed Neisha again and gently grabbed Neisha from around the neck, and a mild sharp pain was felt, but it wasn't too uncomfortable. The person then went to the box and tapped on it. The same thing was done to Cleo. I'm amazed at the both of you, the person said as she rubbed the both of them. Even though that you're both in perfect condition, we have to put you here for a while we check. She picked up the both of them. She went to the wall of cages, where all of them were filled with different animals. She opened up one and put Cleo in there. Finally, Cleo and Neisha were going to have some alone time together. However, the cage was closed. Cleo yelled out. Neisha called out too. She started to wriggle in the person's arms. Neisha cried out, reaching her front paws out of the cage. The pleas of the two friends had the other animals riled up. The animals shouted. The person looked at all the other animals. What's wrong? The animals said again as they paced their cages, calling out. The person found an empty cage and placed Neisha in it. As Neisha was placed in, she kicked her legs and tried to run to Cleo. The paws of the person held her down as she closed the cage door. She couldn't see Cleo in her cage. She was separated from Cleo. And Neisha started to cry. And that concludes part 10 of A Tale of Two Friends. Join me next week for part 8. And I'll see you again for story time. Goodbye, everyone.